This is Danny Gathon for ESBR Boxing in Manchester. It's a pleasure to be joined with me, the one, the only Spencer Oliver. Spencer in Manchester. It's the first fight for Lawrence Okolie under the Sky. Well, it's not the first fight under Sky Sports. First fight under Boxer. It's been a long, hard year or so for Lawrence. Just how much are you looking forward to seeing back in the ring and back in Sky Sports?
Yeah, of course. I'm really looking forward to it. Can you believe they just kicked off the music just as we started?
Shocking, mate.
I have to apologise for that, but yeah, look, I'm really looking. I know it's been a frustrating year or so for Lawrence Okolie, but looking forward to seeing him back in the ring against David Light, unbeaten New Zealander, 20-0, 12 KOs. And I'm going to predict now a spectacular knockout for Lawrence within sort of 4 rounds. David Light's style is quite aggressive, likes to come forward, carries his left hand low, but when he pulls out in straight lines, goes back with his chin in the air, and I think that's stylistically perfect for Lawrence Okolie. And obviously teaming up with Sugar Hill as well, I think he's going to take it to another level. I think we're going to see something spectacular on Saturday night.
I was just going to ask you about that link up with Sugar Hill. Obviously he's known for that famous Kronk style and sort of going for knockouts. The one thing you associate with Lawrence Okolie is knockouts. How do you see that link up playing out? How do you think Sugar can improve Lawrence?
Really well. I was watching him in the gym last night, watching some of the stuff that they were going over and everything else. Sugar Hill, you know, he's good with heavyweights, he's followed in the footsteps of the amazing Manny Stewart, and he learnt the trade from Manny. Manny worked with so many great heavyweights in the past, so Sugar Hill, works well with heavyweights as well. We've seen that with Tyson Fury in recent times, and what I saw in the gym last night with Lawrence Okolie was the stuff he was working on was beautiful, really good, very, very, very technical. Look out for the right hand, that's all I'm saying.
Exciting stuff. Just have to ask you, I touched on how difficult a year or so it's been for Lawrence. Obviously the bother with Matchroom and then HEARN's been well documented. You would have thought that was with Lawrence signing with Sky and seemingly sort of more settled in the past, but it sort of reared its head again this week. Lawrence described Eddie as, I think it was vindictive and malicious, and then Eddie's came out and basically says, oh, you're just using my name to promote the fight, no one care without that. Just what do you make of all that, the current sort of back and forth between Eddie and Lawrence?
Look, it's like having a relationship when you split up with a girlfriend or a wife or whatever in it. It's like it never ends nice, mate. You go from being best mates, soulmates, to enemies. And I think that when there's a breakup in a relationship, it never ends nice. Like Lawrence was obviously not happy about certain things. On the flip side, Eddie's not happy with the way that Lawrence has treated him with everything that's gone on. So, look, I can't really comment on that because I don't know the ins and outs of the details of it. I know that, speaking as an ex-fighter, it's frustrating when you've got problems outside of the ring and contractually you can't do certain things because you're tied into other promoters. I know that's frustrating, I understand that. So it's been a frustrating time for Lawrence, who's in the prime of his career. He's WBO World Cruiserweight Champion. Other great cruiserweights that are around at the moment. Chris Billum-Smith looks like he's going to get a world title shot May 27th down in Bournemouth Football Stadium. It's going to be a massive opportunity. Richard Riakporhe, he's knocking on the door for a world title fight, and we saw what went on with him and Okolie. That could happen. So there's some big fights out there for Lawrence, and he wants to showcase his skills. He wants to get his career back on track. He's got the Sky platform to do that. He's got a lot of eyeballs on him, and I'm expecting something sensational. Let's just say it's been a frustrating 12 months or so for Lawrence Okolie. I know that.
Gives the likes of me and you something to talk about.
Absolutely.
Moving on, Spencer, your mate, your colleague Simon Jordan and Eddie Hearn this week on TalkSport, sort of the talk of boxing. I've seen a lot of people scoring it as a fight, split decision for Hearn, 10-8 round for Simon. How did you see it? How did you score it?
Listen, it was one of those, wasn't it? It's like, subjective scoring. What do you go for? Now, I understood where they were both coming from, but I understood exactly what Simon was asking, and it was mainly centred around the Conor Benn situation, wasn't it? The fact that he has not presented his evidence to the British Boxing Board of Control and still refuses to do so, which makes him look worse in our eyes, because you're going, well, what are you hiding, mate? Forget the legal side that's going on there, and you felt that the British Boxing Board have been against you and have got an agenda against you. Why would they have an agenda against you? He was going to be the next British boxing superstar. What's happened, he's failed 2 tests, and he needs to prove his innocence. And the British Boxing Board of Control are saying you can't box here until you prove your innocence, because you're responsible for what you put in your own body. That is it. Public liability, mate. He has to prove himself, and he doesn't want to do that. So he's going to look like now he's boxing in Abu Dhabi. Chris Eubank Jr. amazingly, I don't know if you heard that on TalkSport there. Eddie threw out at the end there. He said, they mentioned to him about if Conor boxes, he said, yeah, look, Conor's going to go and box around the world, and it looks like June, until he try and get his British licence back, and I don't know what the situation with that is. He looks like he's going to be boxing in June, Abu Dhabi, and Eddie out of nowhere when we was like, was it Manny Pacquiao? Is it Kell Brook? Is it even Liam Smith who said he's thrown his name in the hat? And amazingly, he was like, no, Eubank Jr. looks like...
So that would have to be a UK fight, Ben versus Eubank.
Listen, mate, money talks. You know, we know there's a lot of money out in the Middle East. We know that, you know, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, they've all shown a big interest in boxing. Saudi, there's a big lot of money on the table, mate. The boxers go where there's the most money. So, yeah, perhaps we can see that out there. But for me, I think that Conor needs to clear his name to get the public back on his side. And by going to box in other countries and not clearing this up with the British Boxing Board of Control and proving your innocence, it's all right saying you're innocent, but you need to prove it, mate. And that's the reality of it. And he's not doing that at the moment.
Just last one, Spencer, because I'm sure you're about to be whisked off here in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fury, USYK doesn't look great at the minute. We've seen members of Team USYK saying basically they're tired of having the goalpost moved by Tyson Fury. They'll now be looking to fulfill one of USYK's mandatory obligations, be it Andy Noah, Herbert's choice. Just,
yeah.
What are your thoughts? Do you hold out any hope we can see the fight? A lot of fans are accusing Fury of ducking USYK.
Listen,
is that something you agree with?
I'm frustrated, mate, but I've got to say the fight is not dead and buried in the water just yet. There's a little one for you, because I spoke to Frank Warren yesterday, and I know negotiations are still going on because I was speaking to other parties last night. Yeah, you're hearing it here, mate, you're hearing it here. It's hanging on by a shoestring, so come on, man, we need this fight, you know what I mean? We had an undisputed champion since like 1999, going back to like Holyfield and who was it, Lennox Lewis. You know, they had to draw the first fight, and then Lewis won that second fight. That was a 3-belt era. Now we're the 4-belt era, so that's how often it comes around. And we was going to get it on British soil, man. So, oh, come on, I suppose I'm just being hopeful. The likelihood is it's very doubtful now, and I know the reasons why. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, there's rematch clauses put in place, and it's all about money. I mean, I've got to be fair, I've got to be honest, I think it was very generous of Alexander Usyk giving Tyson Fury 70-30 split anyway. So Alex Krasak is now saying it's the Fury side that are making things too difficult and they want too much. So the public perception of Fury at the moment maybe is not that great, because I think that people are blaming him for this fight not happening as opposed to Usyk. Let's see what happens, mate. Let's see what happens. Let's hope we get it.
We don't have hope. What do we have? Spencer, I really appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Spencer. Really appreciate it.